So I wanted to talk a little bit about the shape of the building. We really were thinking about how the form of the building could kind of promote the natural light, which obviously we have a lot of glass. So this side, the south side of the building, we have about 500 square feet of glass. The north side of the building, we have about 100 feet of glass, square feet of glass. So what that does is the narrow footprint of this building, it's not just because we wanted a super narrow building because we like our rooms to be narrow. It's really because we wanted to get natural light from both sides of every space. So even the bedrooms upstairs, they have high clerestory windows on the north, and they have the glass on the south and the corridor. So if you think about a typical suburban house in Michigan or anywhere else in the country, it's about a 30 by 50 footprint, right? It has, kitchen in the back, living room in the end, dining room in the front, and then upstairs you have a corridor in the middle, and you have bedrooms on either side. So you have, north side bedrooms and south side bedrooms. So basically and that's about 2 stories, about 3,000 square feet, right? 1,500 per level. And it's pretty close to what this is, about 3,000 square foot house. But what we did is we took those 2 halves, 2 stories, and we separated them and then created an angle on the site. So what that allowed us was, what it allowed us to do was have no buried corridor in the house. So every time you're moving, you're circulating through the building, you're always relating to the sunlight and to the view and to the natural light. So even when you're walking down the hallway, we always want to make sure you're seeing outside. You're not looking at a wall at the end. And you'll see that when you go upstairs. So because right directly above us is the corridor with the kids' bedrooms. At the end, there's a window. It looks straight out. So we wanted to avoid having dark corners in the building. So every room gets light from both sides. So really the house, it seems kind of crazy, and you have this angle and there's all this stuff going on outside, but at its core, it's really just taking a typical typology and then spreading it out and making it long and thin instead of bigger and square. So really the shape of the building, it's not a crazy idea, but what it does is it does a lot of work for us. And I always say that I always get hot in the summertime. It's like I just get hot easily. I kind of hang back in the shadow part over here, but all of my girls, my daughters and my wife, they all love the sun, so they're like all right here, the deck, this bench. But we were really trying to promote kind of activity along the glass, along the south with the sunlight. So my daughters, they're 9 and 11. They're always laying on this bench reading. And the organization of this house, it feels kind of cellular. You probably noticed there's no huge great room. All these rooms it's not great for a tour like this, but it's cellular. We wanted each space to feel intimate. So and it really works with how we move through the building during the day. So coming in at the kitchen, that's where everything happens. And then as the evening progresses, we move to this end of the house. We're usually down here reading or watching TV, playing games with the kids. And that little room where John is standing, that's sort of kind of the kid zone. So we don't really care as much about what happens in there. There's a toy kitchen. That's where, but kind of the adult space is at the end. Eventually, this door, and this is a door, not a window, but it's cool. Even the doors tilt in to vent. So eventually we're going to have a screen porch here. So you would actually move down and be able to go right to a screen porch outside. So we did the deck now, but the screen porch frame and roof will come later. Somebody asked me about the fireplace, because we have a fireplace here. A lot of times we do direct vented fireplaces in our project, so that's has a piece of glass on the front. It's sealed off so you don't get rid of all the air that you've just paid to condition in your home. This is actually a biofuel fireplace, so it has a 2-gallon reservoir underneath. You fill it with bioethanol fuel, which I purchased from this company in California, and you just burn it. So there's no flue, there's no hole at the top. So we don't have any place where we're just losing the air that we've conditioned. And then there's an ERV vent on the wall in this room because that does produce carbon dioxide. So it produces moisture in this room. If we're burning that, like on Christmas Day, we had it just running for like 14 hours. it actually produced condensation on some of the glass. And so the ERV helps to kind of keep the air moving in this room.
So that's not really a chimney.
It's not a chimney. We actually built a chimney, so you'll see it on the outside, but unfortunately, it doesn't do anything. We built it because we were planning on doing a gas unit, but we discovered that the costs to get a natural gas line here were pretty insane. It cost a lot more than the fireplace unit itself. So we decided to do biofuel. We already had a chimney, so we just left it as a chimney. And now the chimney, basically, it only houses the wires that take our solar energy down to the box. It's not wasted. But we don't actually need the volume of space of the chimney. So this house is a combustion-free house. So everything is electric because we're on, we have the solar panels. So everything feeds into the electrical grid. So the fireplace was, if you have a natural gas unit, you're introducing combustion, carbon monoxide. So we don't have any natural gas in the house. Yes?
What made you do that as well as the solar?
Say that again?
What made you decide to use a geothermal?
Yeah, so the question was what made us decide to do geothermal. And a big part of it was just for that reason, the wanting to have a combustion-free house. Most projects, and even the projects that we do in our office, many of them are high-efficiency gas heating and cooling. High-efficiency systems, which are super efficient. Natural gas is very inexpensive right now, so it's attractive to many homeowners. But really, we were thinking about the long term. We don't really know what natural gas prices are going to be like in 10 years and 20 years. So if we can reduce our efficiency on those utilities by kind of building a solar array. So we started now with a 5 kilowatt. The plan is in about 8 years, we'll add another 5 or 7 kilowatts, and then we'll cut from the grid. So this house, we cover about half of our energy, our electric costs with the solar panels. I love days like this. And once the reason we did that, we have a contract actually with consumers. They actually buy our energy from us, and then so they buy our solar energy, and then we just buy energy from the grid. It's not a grid-tied system, but once that contract is up, it's a 10-year contract, so in 8 years from now, we'll just add more solar panels and put in batteries and cut from the grid. But the geothermal, because we actually had the space for it, so we needed a 400 linear feet of trench, so this is a horizontal ground loop, so that is basically the space that you see. It goes around the end of the house. We're able to get all of the energy we needed from the ground.
How deep is that?
There's one layer of 3 pipes at 5 feet below grade, and then another layer of 3 pipes at 7 feet. So they take 400 feet of trench times 6. We need 2,400 linear feet of piping. They run with 6 pipes, and at the end they connect them.
So you use it for cooling as well, right? So
Yes.
in summer you have a less of an energy load on your air conditioning?
Yes, absolutely. The house performs really well in the summer. You can see the overhangs outside, the trellis. So right now the sun is low in the sky because it's still March. But when it gets to June and July and the sun is high, we actually only have a tiny little bit of sun on this bench. But the rest of the house with the deep overhangs on the second level and the trellis actually eliminate all the sunlight coming in. So this time of year, we want the sun in here. In the winter, in December, at the shortest day of the year, and the leaves are down. That's why we love that this site had deciduous trees on the south. When those leaves are down, we actually get sunlight on the back wall of the house. So every room is filled with natural light, even in the wintertime.
Did you say the width was 35 feet? I'm sorry, I have a lot of questions.
No, it's okay. The building is about 16 feet wide,
Okay.
and then this little bump out is another 2. So the kitchen is a little bit deeper than that, but that was driven by just the functional need of the kitchen. So at its core, the building is narrow and long.
Are your overhang 3 feet or what?
No, it's more like, on this corner out here, it's more like 6 feet, and then it goes back to about 2 feet. It actually has an angle on it. You'll see that when we go outside. You'll also notice here that there's actually an opening. So on the upper level, there's actually a railing in the hallway for the kids, which does two things. It allows them to talk to us late at night when they're supposed to be in bed. But
You didn't know about.
yeah, that was a byproduct. So we'll be sitting here and we're like, you guys got to go to bed. They're still talking to us, which one day we'll miss that, I'm sure, right? But this opening is really to evacuate hot air. So this, having so much square feet of glass right here, we wanted to be able to open a window in the corridor upstairs, open this window here at the end, and then allow for a natural stack effect. Along the glass. So that's really why we have that gap in the plan.